Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. I'm here with Professor M D Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you.
Professor Nalapat, the first topic that we would talk on today, and I think we're going to touch on a couple of other topics, but first let's start with the new deal for crude oil with Iran that India has signed. You mentioned in a post on your blog, I think, that not everybody is on board with buying crude from Iran. In fact, some private companies have completely stopped buying from Iran, almost petrified, and then buying it in the spot market. And we know that the spot tends to be higher than the prices that are available from Iran. So what do you think is the underlying thing going on?
Well, I would like to believe that the Trump administration is fairly pragmatic and they realize that India cannot cut off its links with Iran, mainly because it's not only because of the very important geographical location of Iran, plus the fact that it's an important energy supplier, but also the reality that we have a very hostile Pakistan on our doorstep. And, Iran is a neighbor of Pakistan. So when your neighbor is hostile, you should make sure that you befriend your neighbor's neighbors. So from that point of view, I do believe the Trump administration is going to be reasonable on this matter, and they're going to understand the need for India to remain close to Iran. Where I have my doubts as to whether the Trump administration will be forthcoming is on India's purchase of the S-400 system from Russia. Personally, I would be surprised if the Trump administration gives a green light to that deal as well.
So if there is a resistance on India's buying S-400 from the Soviets, would the US give a counter offer, do you think?
Look, I have argued that we should try and get the US to install the THAAD systems in India on the same terms as they have installed it in South Korea. THAAD is a very effective system, and when you combine that with Patriot, for example, the kind of Iron Dome that the US has installed over Israel, then it becomes a very formidable system. So I think, the reality of the situation is we need to go closer to the US on matters of security. It is totally, inconceivable that we can go closer to the US in matters of security and at the same time continue to have Russia as the major defense supplier of India. So I have long argued that, okay, let's be friends with Russia. Let's buy Russian petroleum. Let's buy Russian technology in nuclear reactors, but downsize purchases of Russian defense equipment and ramp up purchases of US defense equipment.
The S-400 purchase does come as a surprise because it has been observed that the Modi government has moved away from Russia and moved towards the United States. So this going back to Russia does seem to be a surprise of sorts. So do you think that the THAAD is going to be an exact replacement for S-400? I'm not clear because one is a missile, the other one is a dome. I'm not so.
Look, Sri, it's not going to be an exact replacement, but having India within THAAD is going to send a strong signal to the one adversary we have that is likely to, in some future date, to initiate conflict with India, which is Pakistan. The fact that the US has included India in THAAD will be a very strong warning signal to Pakistan not to create too many problems and too many complications. So it's also not only a question of the effectiveness as a defensive mechanism, but also as a signaling mechanism and as a signaling mechanism to Pakistan. Because Pakistan knows full well the dangers of, frankly, completely ignoring the US where it comes to matters of very great importance to US security. It's been doing that by stealth. It's been doing that, incrementally. But I doubt that the Pakistanis will, frankly, attack India if THAAD is installed.
So from the looks of it, it seems like a win-win for India and US. So, what is stopping Prime Minister Modi from doing this? In your opinion, was it political reasons? Does he think that this might be done after maybe 2019?
Sri, frankly, I really don't understand a lot of what this government has done, beginning with, frankly, the kind of ministry that Prime Minister Modi formed, on May 26, 2014. It was a Vajpayee ministry. I mean, you had Narendra Modi, but it was almost entirely a Vajpayee ministry. Then the bureaucratic team that he brought around him, barring a few individuals who are of very exceptional quality, the bulk of the team are basically retreads from the UPA. So I really don't understand what was the thinking that went into these matters at all, frankly.
Surprise, and it continues to be a surprise because many of those are not fit health-wise, and they're still continuing on.
Well, I'm not worried about their physical health. I'm worried about their
I hope
financial,
that
not financial, the strong financial health they have, especially overseas. Many of them are very corrupt. And I'm sorry to say, several corrupt officers, whom I know to be corrupt, who were corrupt when in the states they were posted in, who have been corrupt when they came to Delhi. These officers have been getting promotion after promotion. And I'm really shocked and surprised that this has been happening under a Modi government. I want Prime Minister Modi to be a chowkidar. As I've said in my column in the Sunday Guardian, we need a chowkidar. We don't need a Mahatma. I wrote a piece in the Sunday Guardian in which I said very, very clearly that India needs a chowkidar and not another Mahatma. The fact is, we expect Narendra Modi to be a strong chowkidar. And, there are other people who are saying, no, he should be a Mahatma, he should be all forgiving. We know Mahatma Gandhi even forgave Pakistan when it attacked India. He wanted India and he made India give a huge amount of money to Pakistan, which Pakistan immediately would have used in buying weapons and arms that would kill Indian soldiers. Gandhiji was such a noble person. He was so noble towards all the people who were opposed to India, all the people who were opposed to our country. That was his big heart. But we don't need that kind of individual as the Prime Minister. We don't want a Mahatma. We want a chowkidar, a person who will send corrupt to jail, especially VVIP corrupt. And if I may say so, Manmohan Singh has got a better record of sending VVIP corrupt people to jail than Narendra Modi has so far.
And what's also striking about Manmohan Singh's action is that he sent some of his own alliance ministers to jail. So that is something significant. Professor Nalapat, I'd like to change topic just a little bit to draw your attention to something else, which is the value of the rupee. I did a survey of the pricing of India's, rupee's exchange rate vis-a-vis the dollar from the beginning of this year. At the time, on Jan 1, 2018, the crude, that is the Brent crude, which is one of the references that we can use. Brent crude was at 63, and the rupee to dollar ratio also was at 64. Today, the Brent crude has actually dropped below 60, 59, 58. In fact, it is poised to go down even further. And in the Indian rupee, it went up from 63, 64 to 74, but it is coming down, but it stopped at 78 or 69. It hasn't had quite the elasticity that I would have expected of the rupee. And it makes me wonder, what is the reason? After all, India has been having stellar exports, which means that there is, you can only peg one reason. If you say that it was a global phenomenon that was causing the rupee to devalue, why is it not revaluing back? What are your thoughts?
Sri, the rupee should be around 40 to a dollar, frankly. That is its natural value as per fundamentals. But we have a Reserve Bank of India. We have a finance ministry who would like to see the rupee fall even further. These people, frankly, have a mindset in which they basically want to ensure that the rupee falls to such a level that people with dollars, people with euros, people with other hard currencies, they can come in and buy Indian assets much cheaper. The more the rupee falls, the cheaper Indian assets are going to be. And this, frankly, is the mindset of both the Reserve Bank of India as well as the Finance Ministry. So when you have people with such mindsets, it acts as an incentive to speculators to short the rupee. There was shorting of the rupee, and it would have gone much further down had some of us not pointed out that shorting is taking place. But I'm sorry to note, not one of those who have shorted the rupee have so far been brought to book. They are continuing to have free access inside the finance ministry and free access inside the highest levels of the Reserve Bank of India.
Yeah, one wonders if a fox has been assigned to guard the chickens, because in my opinion, I couldn't agree with you more that the rupee should be appreciating to 40. But you see, the foreign investment, FII, FPI, whatever name you want to call it, is most often the money of the same set of politicians who took the money out to the tax havens, and then they are in fact bringing it back. So if money is coming in for elections for 2019, then it is in their interest to get more rupee for the dollar, bang for the buck. Sorry, poor pun phrase.
I fully agree with you, and frankly, I mean, I'll give you an example. Let's forget, the whole problem of demonetization, in which the economy was starved of liquidity, and frankly, the Reserve Bank of India completely failed in ensuring adequate liquidity in the economy. Today, I made a suggestion about a few weeks ago that there should be the Reserve Bank should transfer 3.5 lakh crores of its free assets to the 10 major public sector banks to enable them to restart lending. Now, this would be a very good idea, and I'm happy to say Arvind Subramaniam, with whom I don't agree all the time, in fact, very little of the time, he has endorsed this idea, and he has agreed that the Reserve Bank of India should transfer. My point is, the banking system today is almost at the ICU stage. Some are in the ICU, some are hovering outside the door of the ICU, waiting for somebody to push the trolley in. And the only way the Reserve Bank can check this situation is by transferring 3.5 lakh crores to the banks to ensure that their liquidity is sufficient to restart lending among small and medium businesses. Now, it's very, very important that the same mega sharks who have skimmed hundreds of thousands of crores of the banking system should not be allowed to feed at that trough. But if you ensure that medium and small industry gets the requirements met through these nationalized banks, the economy will be kick-started. The foundation of the economy is small and medium industry, and small and medium industry today, frankly, is suffering very, very badly. At the same time, mega sharks who have siphoned lakhs of crores are smiling all the way to their foreign holidays.
And this is something that has been with us for a while now. We have been talking about this. I really, really hope that the government sees the wisdom of what Professor Nalapat is saying. He's, after all, a trained economist. He's a gold medalist from University of Bombay. And the fact that he's a journalist today is, like me, probably he liked writing more than being an economist. But be that as it may, I would urge the government to take a look at how best they can serve the MSME sector. Thank you very much, Professor Nalapat.
Thank you.